Hey there, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see just what is going on when it comes to the month of January 2022 and your astrology. Just a quick heads up, if you are watching this prior to the 15th of December, then well, you may want to check out my 2-hour webinar that I will be doing on the 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, US and Canada. It's going to be all about the major astrological shifts and energetic shifts of 2022. And even if you can't make it, I will also have replays available for purchase the day after. And you can find all the information about that on my website, integrativemysticism.com, the same place you would go to get a session with me. So, what is going on when it comes to your month? Well, the month of January has actually been really nice to my Virgo sensibilities because it's been easy to organize into first half chunk, second half chunk. So that's how I'm going to be discussing it. However, I do of course have all of the dates on screen, so keep that in mind as we proceed. And so just a bit of a heads up, it's the same as it was before, but I'm just saying it a little bit differently. Now, I do also want to remind you that we have Venus retrograde still, and we talked about that in the December monthlies, and there's a whole Venus retrograde video, but I want to, of course, do a bit of a recap, especially for new people. So Venus is retrograde in Capricorn through the 29th of the month. And so this is going to be a time where Venus retrograde is putting pressure on cracks that are already there so that they can be revealed, so that they can be dealt with, resolved, and released. Now, Capricorn, of course, is your 7th house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections. This is the area that talks about your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people that you have your closest one-on-one ties and arrangements with. With Venus retrograde, we do see a need to pay attention to where issues of volatility, insecurity, escapism, and instability have been maybe allowed to exist and where they need to actually be addressed, again, in the interest of a sustainable solution. So throughout the course of this month, you may be noticing that certain close one-on-one connections are going to be having sort of these after-school special kind of feels to them because there is going to be a need to assess, resolve, and release long-standing challenges or things that have just been sort of resting beneath the surface that have not been allowing our closest one-on-one connections to be as wonderful as they could be. Now, this could occur in, yes, a romantic partnership or maybe a best friendship or a business partnership, but this could also occur in situations where it's not necessarily between us, but we have to address difficult or highly sensitive topics about other matters that do impact this companionship or this alliance or this partnership. So it may be things that get brought up about other households, family situations, in-laws, different elements of a business and a business partnership, business decisions, other affiliations or alliances, or even things that we're dealing with in our social lives or with our kids. And so we have to be ready to handle tough conversations well, because sometimes with Venus retrograde, it's very much the elephant in the room or the issue that's been kept under the rug or things that people either turn a blind eye to or hope people would turn a blind eye to that need to be addressed and that are getting this push. Now, this is not going to be so bad. We've got the sun in Capricorn as well, same place, really taking the edge off with this because the sun is bringing attention and enhancement and support to all the work that we are doing here and also attracting in new experiences for these close one-on-one connections to bond over or to heal over if any healing does need to be done. The sun, the 7th house, is drawing in opportunities for not only deeper bonding, but bringing in a great deal of levity, a lot of comfort, and a lot of new recreational opportunities with which we can find a way to bond all the better, developing new love languages, learning new ways to actually maybe even satisfy hungers or desires that have not been getting met. Right, needs that have not been getting met in a certain priority here or in a certain area of our closest committed partnerships or closest committed alliances. And again, this is across the board, not just romantic. It could be business, it could be platonic as well. However, I do want to mention with the sun, this can also be a time where a lot of you who are maybe looking for new partners, whether they are business partners, romantic partners, are going to also be encountering types that challenge insecurities within you that you may need to also be ready to reveal and release and resolve within yourself. And so this is a time where we take things one step at a time. We do not rush. We do not allow ourselves to get swept up, because this can be a challenging time, but it's challenging us for the better. It's challenging us to do things a different way. It's challenging us to finally take steps we've avoided taking in all respects. And this could also be bringing a lot of close friendships closer into, it all depends on how people conduct themselves. We also have Mercury direct in Aquarius this month, for the first half anyway, from the 2nd through the 14th. This is your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, and any kind of money you are making for yourself through self-employment or any kind of non-base salary or hourly income. So tips, commissions, bonuses, incentive programs, sales, things like that. And with Mercury in this area direct, the first half of the month, you're going to notice that you are sitting rather pretty financially, because you're noticing a lot of these income avenues start to just pour in, or I should say trickle in, a lot of easy small balances and small sums and small projects that are going to add up very, very quickly. In fact, with Mercury direct here, we often do see people start to make more money in ways that maybe somebody with a more, let's just say, 20 teens or 1980s yuppie sensibility may turn their nose up to, because this is actually making money very, very quickly in ways that may seem almost humble or almost small, and yet we become very, very wealthy and start to feel a lot more monetarily comfortable by the end of it all. So don't turn up your nose to any opportunities that are coming your way. You are going to see this really add up really, really quickly. A lot of this is boosted by Mars in Sagittarius, in your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, the teams you're on. Mars in the 6th house is all about giving you very competitive opportunities and a lot of extra labor time in order to generate wealth all the more quickly. As I have said before about Mars in a financial area such as the 6th house or the 10th house or the 2nd house, we end up burning the midnight oil, right? There's a lot of overtime. There's a lot of that action, that driving force, that passion and energy, helping us to really rake it in really, really quickly. However, this could be also a time where you notice that because of that very highly competitive driving force, the money that you're generating through that Mars power itself is going to put you in spaces where you're having to be ready to be available at a moment's notice for a lot of things that are developing more quickly than you're used to. You may find that not only are hours or labor time more demanding, but yes, they are paying out a lot more. Just make sure that you don't let it take over your life, but you allow yourself to, of course, compete, have fun, and rise through the ranks. Really, again, rake it in. We also have a new moon in the first half of the month on January 2nd in Capricorn, that 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections and alliances. And this is about new cycles, new beginnings, new chapters, and new stories getting started, right? We're planting seeds. And a lot of you who are, thinking about what is going on with my partnership sector, with all of this Venus retrograde stuff, you're going to see that a new story or a new end game, a new timeline, or a new final culmination or a new goal is being generated from this new moon. And between the 2nd of this month and the 17th of this month, a lot of your partnerships are now actually creating or moving in the direction of a completely new future. This could actually be a new big goal, something that we want to do with our partners, for ourselves, for our family, or possibly for some of you who are single or available, yes, New partnership opportunities may start to become more crystal clear. They may start to show up at this time. Do not rush anything during a Venus retrograde. We already know that it's kind of a touchy energy, but the person or the individual or the companion or even the business alliance, if you're looking for a new way to network, a new strong partnership in that way to take on the world with, will also be available or become visible between the 2nd and the 17th of this month. It's important to understand that with this new moon in particular, though, we are not heading towards the same goal or the same future we had been working on for ourselves in a partnership or a partnership we're looking for or with a current partner. This is something that is a departure from a road we have been on. But this could actually be just as exciting, if not more exciting or more fulfilling. We just have to loosen our attachments to maybe the way we've handled commitment in the past or the values we've imposed upon them, because this is a fresh start. When it comes to the second half of the month, we have the sun moving into Aquarius, where he will be for the duration of this month and through the first half of February. And the sun in that 8th house of shared resources, passive income and intimacy and all of that self-generated and self-employment monies is bringing attention, enhancement, and support where the value is starting to go through a big increase. Okay, so now we're seeing, when we talk about value, the value that's being given or the value that you are getting through these transactions, through these arrangements, is going to be on the increase. So this could indicate, yes, higher sales, higher commissions, higher tips, higher bonuses. This could indicate as well the attention that is coming to your business, to your role, or to the service or the product that you're offering is becoming a lot more substantial. And so you are getting more than you are used to getting through these income avenues as well. And we're bringing in a lot more play into our romantic lives at the same time, because the sun in the 8th house of intimacy is also bringing a lot more fun, a lot more spice to our erotic expression. And it may not necessarily always be intimate or sexual. I want to stress that. Eroticism is a very, very complex situation. It's a complex, it's a complex energy. It's not just, we can't just boil it down to bedroom stuff all of the time. This is a new way to become intimate with each other that we are actually learning to experience. We also have Mars moving into Capricorn the second half of the month, which is, of course, your 7th house of partnerships. We've talked about that a bit already in this video. And this is, of course, bringing that action, driving force, the passion, the energy, and the obstacle clearing to the 7th house. So this is actually building on the changing the way we bond with our closest one-on-one connections and our commitments. Now, the obstacle clearing energy is very, very strong here because we are taking away interference, blocks, and walls that may actually be preventing or stymieing or blocking or misdirecting opportunities to have a strong, healthy bond in all of our closest one-on-one connections. This can be tough in the beginning because sometimes for a wall to come down, harsh collisions are necessary. And so you may be noticing that this is going to create a month and a half of many deep, close, and revealing heart-to-hearts, but also a lot of arguments, especially when it comes to things that people have been sitting quiet on. Venus retrograde certainly is also pushing that as well, at least in January. It won't be so in February, but in January it is. But we're also seeing that this is creating a stronger union and attracting people who are capable of maintaining stronger unions, being able to share their emotions, fight and quarrel when we have to have a conflict and not have the world come to an end. Highly capable emotional bonds that actually run very, very deep for a stronger sense of partnership, love, and fellowship for everybody. We also have Mercury turning retrograde this month, and Mercury will be turning retrograde on the 14th, and we'll spend about a week or so in Aquarius, your 8th house, before moving on to Capricorn from the 25th and through the beginning of February. So Mercury retrograde in the 8th house Aquarius from the 14th to the 25th is actually very, very positive. Mercury retrograde in the 8th house is one of the places where you kind of get off easy in the astrology. And we're seeing revisits, revisions, rearrangements, and even returns with the 8th house. And with Mercury retrograde in the 8th house, people tend to get paid, because we have a lot of balances due, debts, and old business getting resolved and slates getting cleared. And with Mercury retrograde in the 8th house, you may be noticing that when it comes to money or property or material matters that don't belong to you, that you've been forced to hold on to for some reason, are getting finally settled and going back to where they truly belong, right? Things that don't belong to you, that you have no business carrying or keeping, go back to where it's really meant to go. And vice versa. Things that ultimately have been supposed to come to you, whether it is things that you're entitled to, things that belong to you, that have maybe been kept in the possession of others or left hanging for some reason, this is also going to be boosting that, right? We are putting everything back where it belongs. After the 25th, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, that 7th house, is doing a lot of revisiting, revising, and rearranging when it comes to how we do partnerships. And we're going to see the restoration of a lot of dreams and fantasies, pastimes, and communication styles for our partnerships. So we're kind of getting back in touch with ourselves. With Mercury retrograde, however, there could be some challenges that come up because we're also revising the terms of a lot of commitments, revising the terms of a lot of trajectories or maybe even contracts and business situations, really kind of pulling things apart to put them back together the right way. And for a lot of you, this could be a time where, yes, for those of you that are single or available, people that are reminiscent of your past partners or past loves, or maybe even just people from your past you've never been involved with, or people reminiscent of those types, could show up. Whether you want it or not, it's up to you. You have free will. You don't have to just do something, right? Make a choice. If we don't live with choices, if we don't live with our free will, we just become objects in the universe devoid of purpose and meaning. So make sure you understand that. If you want it, great. If you don't worry about it. But that is something that could come up here. This could also be very positive, though, because there are revivals of things that we loved to do with partners, current or past, that we get to actually have back if we want. Old activities, again, old pastimes, old love languages, old bonding opportunities, or even, yes, in the case of business partnerships, old venues, old ventures, and old money. Finally, we have a full moon in your sign, which is coming up on the 17th. And this opens up a 2-week window, basically covering the second half of January and a little bit of the first half of February. A full moon in your sign is your once-a-year birthday full moon. It's about culminations, climaxes, and transitions. What do you want to completely clear and bury and release from your life beyond recall? What is it that you know that you have been doing or carrying on in any way, any area of your life that you want to lay to rest, to let be done and gone, never to carry it again through the rest of your year or maybe the rest of your life? This is a purging moon that is fully under your control. It's something that you get to quit, you get to drop, you get to release. What is it that you need to break with? So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.